Hi guys, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing yet another book tag. It's the childhood book tag this time, and this was created by Rose Rambles. I will link her channel down below. There are 8 questions and let's dive in. Question number 1. Is there a book question number 1. Is there a book that you didn't like the first time but ended up enjoying during a second read? If I don't like a book the first time round, I'm either going to DNF it or finish it and then never read it again. I can't think of a time where I have read a book and not enjoyed and then wanted to reread it again. So, no, I don't think so. No. Question number 2. Do you still have any books from your childhood? If so, what are they? And if not, do you wish you'd kept any of them? I had quite a lot of first edition Roald Dahls as a child, hardcover ones, and I wish I'd kept those. Also, I had a first edition hardcover of Who Invented Peanut Butter by Alexander McCall Smith. And I'd actually met Alexander McCall Smith, and it was in a youth group that I was part of back in the mid-90s. And he came along and chatted about what it was like to be a writer, and I think he read some of the book to us, and we were all gifted a copy of this book. And I read it and reread it and loved it. It's one of my favourite books of all time. I absolutely love it. And then through the sands of time, it went missing and I lost it. And I have another copy of it now. It was very difficult to get hold of because it's been out of print for years and it was exceptionally expensive, but I got it. And at Topping and Company Booksellers in St Andrews about a year or so ago, Alexander McCall Smith was doing a reading of his poetry anthology called A Gathering, and it's poems that he loves and enjoys, and he's brought them all together in a book. And I got my copy of Who Invented Peanut Butter signed again by Alexander McCall Smith, and I told him the story that we'd met before and he'd given me this book, and sadly I'd lost it. And he stood up and shook my hand, and he was such a warm man and just so friendly, and it's a memory I will treasure forever and a book that I will now treasure forever. But I regret losing that book because that book meant so much to me. My replacement means the same, but the original would have been a nice thing to have kept. Question number 3. Were there popular books or book series you never read or got into as a kid? Yes. Harry Potter. I never wanted to read them as a child because I didn't want to be like everyone else, and that is one of my biggest bookish regrets, is not reading Harry Potter. I'm reading them now. I have 2 left to read, so I have read 5, and I want to finish them, but at the same time I don't. I have this weird thing with series and book series that I will read an amount of them and then I'll stop because I don't want them to be over. And I know that if I finished Harry Potter, I would reread it again in the future, but it's an anxiety. It's just something that I've always struggled with. And I know that it's silly. I know that it's slightly pathetic, but that's just me, unfortunately. So yeah, Harry Potter, I thoroughly regret not getting into that. Lord of the Rings as well, I regret not reading, but I will get to those at some point soon. Hopefully in 2020. Next question. Question number 4. What did you mostly read? Fiction, non-fiction, comics, or manga? Has that changed as you've gotten older? I've never read manga. Never. It doesn't appeal to me. unfortunately. Comics, The Beano and the Dandy. I read those, not very often, but I read them. The Bruins and Urwilly. Can you call those comics? They're more like comic strips, I suppose. Non-fiction. As a child, I didn't tend to read non-fiction. I don't really tend to read non-fiction now. I mean, I will read it, but it's not a genre that I would choose as a genre that I would just read predominantly. Fiction, yes, I read a lot of fiction. Roald Dahl, especially, was a series of books that I loved and adored and read and reread, almost until the books were falling apart. Which probably explains why I don't have the editions that I had when I was a kid, sadly. Question number 5. What are some of the popular books... Sorry, what were some of the popular books when you were a child in your country? Harry Potter. Yeah, they were the popular ones. 1997, the first one came out, and I was 11, and I just didn't get into them. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Question number 6. Do you have any reading habits you've carried into your teenage or adult life? E.g., mouthing the words, reading one or multiple books at a time, dog-earing a book, reading without music, etc. Okay, so I as a 33-year-old man, I have no qualms about admitting to the fact that when I read, I mouth the words. It's something I've always done. It's a habit that I got into as a child, and I do. I mouth along the words. I can't read silently. It feels alien to me. That's just the way I am. Reading one or multiple books at a time. I used to do that all the time, and then I would completely lose track, and my brain would feel scrambled. So I tend to just read one book at a time now. Dog-earing books, again, was something that I used to do. The idea of that makes me break out in a cold sweat. The thought of damaging a book just is the most horrendous, gives me the most horrendous feeling, almost like night terrors. Yeah. With music, I don't read without music. I will have sort of like easy listening jazz in the background, as opposed to like singing music, like chart music, because I get distracted. If there's voices, if it's just like instrumental like jazz, that relaxes me, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, there you go. Question number 7. How would you decide what to read? For example, did you choose a book based on the cover, the synopsis, or both? As a child, it was mostly cover choices that got me reading, and the fact that my favourite was Roald Dahl, and my Alexander McCall Smith book, Who Invented Peanut Butter. Yeah, if the cover was pretty, I would tend to read the book. If it was a short book, I would read it. If the print was large, I would read it. When I was a kid, I was quite a lazy reader. Yeah, I was very undisciplined. I would read half of one, start another. Yeah, so I'm more of a disciplined reader now. My choices now are based more on synopsis, and sometimes on cover buys. I mean, isn't everyone like that? I think we are. So the final question is question number 8. Where would you normally get books from? I.e., libraries, yard sales, second-hand bookstores, etc. I think in this country, a yard sale, our equivalent is a car boot sale. So I, growing up, never had a library card. My mum did, and she got books out for me. So libraries, yep. School library, we didn't need a card for that. We just borrowed from the school library. Car boot sales, I would get books from there. Secondhand bookstores, yeah, absolutely. Still do. And the funny thing is, I now have a library card and have done for a year, maybe 2, and I haven't borrowed anything from the library. I know, I am horrified by myself. So yeah, that's the childhood book tag. I hope it made some semblance of sense, and I hope you enjoy watching it. Thank you for watching. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye bye.